And so we put together an 18-page business plan. Of that business plan, half of it dealt with the people we're going to put on this thing. 10 years later, 12 years later, 10 years later, that business is worth $750 million or thereabouts. And a company came in from the UK and offered 40% more than the stock market price. This was in June of 2008. Anybody remember 2008? We had a very good board, which is another measure. We talked about having very good people. Your board has to be overqualified. Because it turned out I didn't want to accept this offer. Because I knew the business plan of the company. I thought we could beat that 40% markup in price. But one of our board members is the former Comptroller General of the United States. And part of his consulting was consulting to a guy named Hank Paulson about liquidity. And he said, you know, Walt, this country may have some problems in liquidity coming up. You may want to really vote to accept this offer from this British company. And I said, how bad can the liquidity problem be? Within about a month, they had convinced me that this really was a pretty good offer, and I signed off on it. And in the middle of August 2008, we signed a definitive agreement to sell the company for that 40% premium. 2 weeks later, Bear Stearns happened. A week after that, Lehman Brothers happened. But the price was locked in. If they tried to change the price, there's a $15 million penalty. So the price was locked in. The deal went through. It had a clear intelligence agency's approval, which took them until December. But by December of 2008, the deal was signed. And the investment banking firm ended up regarding this the second best deal that they ever funded. And obviously, I and my business partner put money in. We got 17-1 return on our money in that period of time. So if you take a look at it, I didn't know I was going to be an entrepreneur. I just knew that my grandfather said you can do anything in this country if you work at it. I got sort of lucky in that the IT industry formed as I was a young guy willing to think about management issues that were the open issues. First thing I did was building internally, which was successful. The second thing I did was going on my own, which was not very successful. In between, by the way, I sold my own company long before we started this biggest one, and to run within another large company, an internet startup, and that was a disaster. And then a very good end result in the final case. So you get there sort of by accident. Sometimes you're going to succeed. But always people are the final determiner, including who you have on your board sometimes. And that's my message.
Very good. Thanks to all of you for serving up a lot of fodder for good discussion, including entrepreneurship and innovation, timing, which is important as well. The people side of the equation and elements of risk. I should point out, though, Mac likes to tease. He mentioned political risk. I had 45 years of counting, so anyway, great story. Great story. Congratulations. Let's open it up to the audience. I've got a bunch of questions that come to mind, but put those aside, and who'd like to start? Myra, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask both Walt and Jenny, in getting your startup going, how did you approach your funding, and what kind of risk did you perceive? How did that all come to fruition?
Did everybody hear the question? No. The question was how the two of us approach funding. How was the risk perceived? And basically, how'd you get the money?
Okay. Well, I can start because mine is very simple. We started the first entrepreneurial business. We were very lucky because there was a market pull. And because in the electronic industry at the time, going through very fast of the development and evolution, a lot of needs for the new suppliers. And so there's a market pull. In the meantime, my work came out, so that helped me individually.